Let's talk about bipolar and other mood disorders. For those that don't know me, my name is Steph and I'm a psychologist here to break it down. On the board, we have our regular mood in the middle. This is your average mood, your baseline. At the bottom, we have depression. Now, in psychology, a depressive episode or major depressive disorder means that you've been experiencing depressive symptoms for at least 2 weeks. Now, those symptoms can include depressed mood for most of the day, nearly every day, a loss of interest in activities you used to enjoy, fatigue, feelings of hopelessness, weight gain or weight loss, and a couple of other symptoms. For any type of bipolar 1 or bipolar 2, you must have had a depressive episode sometime along the way. Depressive episode means depressive symptoms for at least 2 weeks. The only difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 is the manic episode. For bipolar 1, it is mania. Now, you don't have to have manic episodes often, but it has to have occurred once in your lifetime. Now, mania is described as an elevated mood, and mania is a bit more severe. It lasts for around 7 days. It's associated with more risk-taking behavior, such as dangerous driving, impulsive spending. People can lose track of time in mania. Mania can also be associated with dissociation, so people don't even remember engaging in these activities. So for bipolar 1, we have an episode of depression and we have a manic episode there, right? Now, the space between these two can differ for any type of client, but it has to be the presence of a manic episode and the presence of a depressive episode. Bipolar 2, it is called hypomania. So hypomania is above regular mood, but it's not as high as a manic episode. So we usually see hypomania along here. So in order to be diagnosed with bipolar 2, we need a depressive episode, and we need a hypomanic episode here. Now, hypermania is characterized by elevated mood for about 3 to 4 days, so it's not as long, it's not as severe as mania, and it's not as noticeable by other people. So whilst people in a hypomanic episode may seem more energetic, it just seems like it's a bit uncharacteristic of them. Like, oh, Jen seemed like she was really productive today. She was full of energy. It's kind of like when someone's had a lot of caffeine, whereas mania, you can really tell that the other person is not okay. Now, some people have what's called cyclothymia, and cyclothymia is when you don't quite hit that depressive episode, but your mood kind of cycles between these lows, but it doesn't get as high as a hypomanic episode. So when you cycle between low moods, but not quite depressive episodes and not quite hypomania, that can be cyclothymia. So in summary, bipolar 1 happens when you have a depressive episode and a manic episode, and bipolar 2 is when you have a depressive episode and a hypomanic episode. Want to know more about psychology or mood disorders? Let me know in the comments.